Rain hammered the old bus stop like a drummer on a tin roof. Neon bled across puddles. Sophia pulled her hoodie tight and pressed a hand over the worn gym bag at her feet. Inside, wrapped in tape and a faded towel, lay the thing she never talked about, 8-ounce gloves that still smelled like pine resin and adrenaline. Michael flicked a cigarette near her sneaker. "Yo, hoodie girl," he smirked, nudging Robert. "Watch your step. Wouldn't want you to slip." Robert grinned and tilted his soda, letting it dribble, slow, petty, onto the bench where Sophia sat. It crawled toward her like a dare. Emma, in a red leather jacket, filmed on her phone, whispering to Evelyn. "She's shaking." Was she? Her fingers were steady on the strap. But humiliation has its own tremor, the kind that hides under the skin, the kind that wakes old ghosts. John, the biggest, stepped forward. "Say sorry for bumping my friend." He didn't wait for an answer. Louder. "Come on." Sophia stood, calm, small. The rain softened around them, as if even the weather leaned closer. "I'll clean it," she said. "Give me a napkin." Laughter. A crushed napkin sailed past her cheek. Soda kept spilling. Emma zoomed in. "This is gold." Sophia took a breath, the kind that fills the ribs sideways, the kind coach used to count. In on 4. Hold on 4. Out like a tide. She crouched, wiped the bench with the sleeve of her hoodie, and set the gym bag on the dry spot. She could hear her heartbeat. Not scared. Measuring. "Ah, look," Robert cooed. "Our helper." He reached for the bag. "What's in here, school lunch?" Sophia's hand touched his wrist. "Light. Final. Don't." He smirked wider. "Or what?" In the glass of the bus shelter, their reflections floated. 5 shapes around one. The city hummed. Tires hissed. Somewhere a dog barked. Inside that thin envelope of rain and neon, time slowed to a held breath. "Let it go," Evelyn murmured to Emma, but not loud enough. Sophia picked up the bag and stepped out from under the shelter into the rain. It soaked her hair flat and shining. "You can keep laughing," she said. "I'm leaving." Michael clapped mockingly. "Run along, champ." The word hung, careless, and hit something hidden. Sophia's eyes lifted. A flicker. A memory of ropes and lights, and the low thunder of a crowd that never knew her name. Underground means uncredited. It means you walk home alone. Champ. Robert chuckled. "Yeah, right." A bus roared past without stopping. The wind from it slapped water across their shoes. Sophia's phone buzzed. One message from Coach. "Stay sharp. People are heavier when they're cruel." She turned. "That soda you spilled?" Her voice was level. "You'll clean it." "Make me," John said. He stepped so close she could smell the mint gum he had chewed down to bitterness. Sophia's jaw relaxed. Shoulders loose. Elbows soft. That quiet coil, that hidden spring. A siren wailed blocks away. The rain paused, a softer stitch over the street. Have you ever felt a room tilt toward 2 seconds that will change everything? She looked at their faces one by one. Michael's mimic grin, Robert's mockery, Emma's hungry camera, Evelyn's uneasy eyes, John's challenge. And then she let the moment hang. Silent. Hooked breath. Held frame. "Last chance," she said. The word chance landed like a glove on canvas. And then, from around the corner, tires screeched. Someone shouted. Shadows moved. The bag slipped from Sophia's hand and thudded open in the rain. And the first thing that spilled was not a lunch, but a pair of scarred, black boxing gloves. The gloves lay like sleeping animals. Rain beat it on leather. Emma's camera caught the letters burned into the wrist strap. S-A-L-I. "Ollie," Michael snorted. "Oh, please." He towed a glove. It didn't move. "You stealing names now." Sophia crouched and lifted the glove with both palms, like a ceremony. Her hands knew the weight. "Not stealing," she said. "Given to me. From an old coach who believed in quiet storms and discipline hung on a nail." John folded his arms. "Cute props." "Wraps," Sophia said simply, pulling out the white tape and looping it around her knuckles. The rain made the cotton cling. "You always film strangers?" she asked Emma, eyes flicking to the lens. "Or just girls you think can't push back?" Emma flinched, just a millimeter. "It's public," she said, but softer. "People should see." "See what?" Evelyn shot back. surprising herself. She looked at Sophia's fingers, moving with practiced rhythm, the way a guitarist strings a favorite song. Guys, maybe we should. Should what? Robert laughed. Ask her for tickets to her imaginary fight? Sophia's thumb tuck was clean. First knuckle, second knuckle, around the wrist, set the hinge. You think I'm pretending? She looked up. Then stop pretending too. Stop pretending you don't know when a line is crossed. John stepped forward. Lines wherever I say. Rule of 3, Sophia murmured, half to herself. 3 tells. Coach's voice again. A bully flashes, his tells the way bad boxers drop their guard after a jab. John's jaw clicked left when he lied. Michael's shoulders lifted right before he laughed. Robert's eyes darted down each time he risked more than he meant. Sophia stood in the rain and did the small thing that makes big things happen. She breathed. Here's what's going to happen, she said, calm as a metronome. You'll put the soda in the trash. You'll apologize to her, she nodded at Evelyn, for making her complicit. And you'll let me leave. Michael grinned. And if we don't, then I'll make space, she said, almost gently. I'm good at making space. Make space. Robert laughed. What is this, yoga? Sophia slid on the first glove. The wet leather kissed the wrap and sealed it. Her shoulders dropped an inch. The body remembers. The ring isn't a place. It's a posture. No, she said. Timing. Emma's camera shook. John, don't. But he was already moving. Hand out to shove her shoulder. You know that silent moment before thunder? When the world goes wide and your senses turn bright. Sophia pivoted on the ball of her left foot. John's shove meant nothing. She wasn't there. She tapped his wrist with 2 knuckles, a quick pop, not a punch, a reminder, redirected the force, and he stumbled forward, plaster skidding under his boots. Hey, Michael lunged. He telegraphed the lifted shoulder, and Sophia slid inside, nothing wasted, tapped his sternum with a compact check hook, no more than a nudge with meaning. Air left him with a shocked grunt. Robert froze. The rain seemed louder. What are you? He whispered. Sophia straightened, breathing even. Disciplined. Emma lowered her phone an inch. The red jacket suddenly felt like a costume. She told us, she said, almost to herself. We didn't listen. A car rolled by. Its headlights threw their shadows across the sidewalk like a slideshow of consequences. John recovered, face flushing. Pride lit him up. You hit me, he said. No, Sophia replied. I stopped you from hitting me. Same thing. Sophia tilted her head. Then you should stop. He didn't. He cocked his shoulder, anger first, thought later. Sophia's eyes softened, as if she felt sorry for the choice he was about to make. Careful, she whispered. You don't know what I've survived. John drove forward, and Sophia stepped in with a slip, a weave, and a flash of hands, so fast that Emma's camera caught only rain, and then John's back hit the bench with a shock that stole his breath. They stared at the bench, at John's open-mouthed gasp, steam rising from his jacket. Evelyn rushed to him. Breathe, Johnny. In, out. She looked up at Sophia, all blooming where fear had been. How did you? Angles, Sophia said, voice low. And mercy. Michael spat rain. Mercy? You're dead. He raised his fist the way people do when they've seen fights but never been in them. Thumbs tucked wrong, elbows flared, chin up like a target. Sophia exhaled through her nose. Somewhere under the city, she remembered, a bell once rang for her. A basement gym with a flickering bulb. Chalk dust. A circle of faces. No name on the poster, just a silhouette. But among the regulars, she had a name. Evelyn found her voice. What's your fighter name? Sophia's eyes flicked to the fading letters on her strap. They called me Night Shift, she said, because I fought when the city slept. Emma blinked. Underground. Sophia nodded. No lights. Little money. Fewer rules. I learned to be quick, quiet, precise. She glanced at John, now sitting up, pride wounded more than flesh. I learned to end things before they begin. Robert tried to laugh and failed. Night shift. Cute. You think that scares me? Sophia's face softened. I don't want to scare you. I want you to stop. She looked at Emma. Will you keep filming? Emma swallowed. The red dot on her screen felt hot. Maybe I should put it down. Maybe you should keep it up, Evelyn said, surprising herself again. Maybe you should show who you've been. Rain slackened to a mist. Sirens faded to memory. The city returned to hum and hush. Michael darted in sudden, like a dog snapping at a sleeve. He grabbed for Sophia's hood. She wasn't there. A pivot, a parry, a half step to the outside. She tapped his ear with 2 fingers, an old gym trick to scramble focus without harm, and guided him past, letting his own momentum put him to a knee. What? Michael blinked, dizzy but not hurt. He looked up at her, something new in his eyes. Recognition? Or the first crack in bravado? Sophia crouched. It's not too late to be better, she said. You can end it here. Robert's jaw worked. He looked to John. Men look to the biggest when their map fails. John avoided his eyes, not ready to meet himself there yet. Evelyn stood, heart pounding. We messed up, she said, steadying. We did. The words trembled, but they were real. Too late, Robert snarled, grasping at control. He pulled something from his pocket, a heavy, ugly brass ring. Not a weapon, exactly. A choice. Underground champ. Huh? Let's go under. Sophia's gaze locked on the ring. She felt the familiar cold in the ribs. This was where things turned. This was where fights stopped being lessons and started being stories you couldn't take back. Don't, she said. Make me. Robert slid the ring on like a crown for a bad king. Rule of 3, Sophia whispered again. He drops his eyes when he risks too much. She saw it. The dart. The tell. The rain ceased entirely. City lights sharpened. Even the air seemed to wait. Emma, Sophia said quietly, without looking away, if you keep filming, film everything, including yourselves. Emma's thumb hovered over the screen. Red dot. Beating like a second heart. Robert fainted high and rushed low. A dirty move. Basement lesson. Sophia's feet answered before thought. She stepped to the blind side, slid her forearm across his bicep to redirect the arc, and clipped the ring with a knuckle flick that sent pain up his arm like lightning. The ring popped loose. It clattered. Evelyn kicked it away on instinct, and it skidded under the bench with a metal scream. Robert roared, straightening, and stopped because there was a glove hovering a breath from his nose, not touching, just there, like a wall he couldn't see before. Look at me, Sophia said. He did. Stop now. His chest heaved. Pride wanted a stage. Conscience wanted an exit. Your choice, Sophia said, and lowered the glove. Robert's eyes dropped again, then hardened, and he lunged, grabbing Emma's phone instead. Emma yelped as Robert twisted the phone from her grip. No more filming, he snapped, raising it high. We're done being the bad guys in your movie. Robert. Evelyn's voice cracked. Stop. But he hurled the phone downward. The screen spidered in the puddle with a sick, bright sound. A small, final starburst of wrong. Sophia didn't move for a heartbeat. Her face went very still. Coach, you don't teach a lesson with anger. You teach it with clarity. She stepped forward and, without touching Robert, nudged the fallen ring with the toe of her shoe back into the light. It glinted like a confession. You break things when they show you yourself, she said softly. That's why mirrors scare you. Michael stared at the cracked phone, then at Sophia, then at Robert. Dude. John rose from the bench, slower now. Something had shifted behind his eyes. Rob, he said careful, we look like clowns. We look like men, Robert snapped. We don't get pushed around. By who? John asked. A girl with discipline? He swallowed. Pride tasted sour. She didn't humiliate us. We did. Rain started again, a thin veil, as if the sky didn't want to watch. Sophia bent, picked up Emma's phone with gloved hands. And if that image doesn't move you, broken glass held like a fragile bird, then maybe you've forgotten what mercy looks like. She wiped it on her hoodie. The camera still blinked, stubborn red. It had caught the crack and kept seeing. Emma laughed through a tremor. It's still recording, she whispered. Even broken. Like most people, Sophia said, offering it back. Record the repair too. Emma took it, breath shaking. Why are you kind? Because someone was kind to me when I didn't deserve it, Sophia said. And because kindness is not weakness. She turned to Robert. But kindness has boundaries. Robert squared his shoulders. Show me. Sophia nodded once, sad and certain. Okay. She drew a box on the wet pavement with her gaze. A ring only she could see. She stepped into it, rolled her neck, loosened her jaw. The air around her seemed to condense, like a lens focusing. Hands up, she told Robert, chin down. Elbows in. If you insist on learning, I'll teach you the safest way I can. He laughed, but it sounded tired. Teach me, champ. First lesson, she said. You're not my enemy. You're my student. Second, she raised her gloves. Respect the space. Third, her feet set. Breathe when you're afraid. Robert lunged, sloppy with rain and stubbornness. Sophia slipped left, tapped his shoulder, tapped his ribs, tap tap. The sound of a drummer on a door asking if you're ready to come out. He gasped. Not pain, surprise. She gave him distance. Gave him choice. He snarled, swung wide. She ducked, her braid flicking water, and rose with a body shot that didn't land, only whispered past his coast like a cold warning. He flinched at the ghost of impact. That was enough. Again, she said, voice calm. He tried again. Slower. She parried, showed him the hole in his guard, and let him see how easily pain could have filled it, and didn't. His breath changed. The storm in his chest quieted to weather. Michael watched, arms lowering. John stepped beside Evelyn, taller, but smaller somehow. Emma filmed with both hands now, steady. Sophia stopped. You feel it? She asked Robert. He nodded, stunned. Like I'm falling and standing at the same time. That's humility, she said. It's solid ground. Robert's eyes shone with something that might someday be regret. The word caught Rusty. I'm sorry. Sophia breathed out. The invisible ring dissolved. Then pick up the soda, she said gently. Start there. He did. He lifted the sticky cup with both hands, like an offering, and carried it to the trash. The sound it made when it dropped in was small and holy. Evelyn exhaled a laugh that was half-sob. We're stupid, she said to Sophia. We were cruel for sport. Most cruelty starts as a game, Sophia said. It ends when someone refuses to play. The bus's headlights rolled toward them again, silvering the street. As the bus braked and doors folded open, a figure stepped down. A thin man in a navy cap who paused, looked at Sophia's gloves and said, Kid, I told you to stay out of trouble. Coach. Coach's cap dripped a small circle onto the pavement. He looked older under the bus stoplight, eyes sharp enough to cut through bravado and find the soft truth underneath. You promised me, he said. No more basement rings. Sophia's mouth quirked. No ring, she said. Just a line. Coach looked at the group. Emma, with a cracked phone, Evelyn with rain and relief on her face, John holding his ribs and his pride carefully apart, Michael kneeling by the bench, and Robert standing by the trash, hands empty for once. What happened? Coach asked, but his eyes already knew. They humiliated her, Emma said, voice small and strong at the same time. We did. She gave it back without breaking us. Coach grunted. That sounds like her. He touched the letters on Sophia's strap with a finger that shook just a little. Night shift, he murmured. Always working when nobody's watching. People were watching, Emma said, lifting the phone. They'll see. Coach shrugged. Then give him something worth seeing. He faced the group. Here's your free corner advice. You don't fix shame with swagger. You fix it with repair. He pointed. You big fella, apologize to that bench. John blinked. Yeah, I'm serious. Say it. Out loud. John looked at the wet wood, then at Sophia. Something in her nod gave him permission to be ridiculous and right. I'm sorry, he told the bench, for throwing my weight where it didn't belong. Evelyn snorted a laugh, then covered her mouth, then laughed again, freer. Michael raised a hand. I'm sorry for the cigarette and the, extra commentary. Good. Coach said. He turned to Robert. And you? Robert swallowed. I'm sorry for the phone, for the ring, for not listening. He looked at Sophia. Can I pay you back? For the phone. Emma shook her head. I'll keep the crack. It remembers me. She wiped her eyes. But you can buy us all hot chocolate. Michael perked. I can do that. Coach eyed Sophia. And you? You okay, kid? She nodded. I kept it below the belt. He grunted. Approval, disguised as complaint. I trained you to walk away. I tried, she said. They needed a boundary. He sighed, then smiled small and proud. You put a velvet rope where a wall used to be. That's better than most. The bus driver leaned on the horn, impatient. Doors hissed. People inside glanced out, curious, then went back to their screens. Sophia peeled off her gloves. The rain had washed them clean. She slid them back into the bag with the careful tenderness you give an instrument that can play lullabies or alarms. Emma stepped closer. Can I ask you something? Why do you fight? Sophia looked past Emma at the city, the crooked grin of neon, the tired windows, the long, kind roads home. Because once, when I was small, someone cornered me and nobody came, she said. So I became the person who comes. Silence sat with them. Not heavy this time. Patient. Warm. Evelyn reached out. Thank you. Sophia squeezed her hand. Take care of each other. Robert shuffled. If we see someone doing what we did, we should stop it, right? Gently if you can, Sophia said. Firmly if you must. Coach clapped his hands. Lesson over. Go be better. He tipped his cap at Sophia. Night shift, get some rest. The group drifted toward the corner store, a little dazed, a little changed. Laughter came back to their mouths, but it sounded different, less sharp, more round. Sophia and Coach waited under the bus stop, sharing the kind of quiet that people earn. The rain softened to a hush. Somewhere a bell rang, not for a fight, but for closing time. Coach nudged her. You know, they'll tell this story wrong. I know, she said, but maybe the right parts will stick. The bus arrived again, sighing open like a tired book. Sophia boarded. Coach followed. As the doors slid shut, Emma lifted her cracked phone and caught one last image. A girl with a gym bag, vanishing into night, leaving something invisible behind. Space, safety, the memory of a line. The bus pulled away. The puddles settled. The city exhaled. Now let me ask you, when you witness a small cruelty in public, spilled drink, mocking laugh, a shove that wasn't that hard, what's your first move? And what boundary could you set that might change the story for everyone watching?